Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a video on a huge scandal currently ongoing in the video game industry. And it basically revolves around EA trying to reclaim its title as the worst company in America. Now, in previous weeks, we've spoken about how EA and Activision seem to be fighting over that title. What with news of that Activision patent on designing games that include matchmaking systems developed to manipulate you into microtransactions, and news of EA's upcoming Star Wars game Battlefront 2 having pay-to-win microtransaction elements in a full-priced AAA game. Feel free to check out those videos if you need to get caught up. Well, to continue this discussion, EA has once again one-upped Activision, because as it turns out, the Battlefront 2 controversy wasn't over yet. The publisher's latest debacle has been met with over 680,000 downvotes on Reddit. That's over 680,000 unique users hitting the dislike button on something posted by the EA community management team. Now, while I joke about EA and Activision fighting each other over who's the most hated company, EA has literally been awarded the title of worst company in America by The Consumerist in 2012. And again in 2013. So what is it that EA posted on Reddit in an attempt to reclaim this title? Well, it all started that when we learned that in the upcoming Battlefront 2 game, set to release November 17th, we'll have to unlock the ability to play iconic characters like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. But not only that, a video from GameSpot revealed that buying $100 worth of loot crates netted only about half the credits required to buy Luke or Vader, who are priced at 60,000 credits. Further calculations estimated that it would take $240 worth of microtransactions, or 40 hours of grinding gameplay, to obtain enough credits to unlock one of these characters. Now, as we've stated, Battlefront 2 is a full-priced AAA game that a lot of people are paying $80 for, that also includes microtransactions. These take the form of loot boxes, so you can't outright buy credits, but buying loot boxes will basically give you credits. Now, these loot boxes also contain items that boost your character. In other words, the game is pay to win. Because although you earn these loot boxes normally by playing the game, you can also just pay money to get the loot box instantly and acquire an item that gives you an advantage over another player. So when someone complained on Reddit about having to unlock Darth Vader, EA replied with the following comment, which again has received over 680,000 downvotes. Quote, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes." The post goes on to loosely explain how they pick the numbers they picked and that they appreciate feedback, blah blah blah. But pride and accomplishment. How much pride and accomplishment will I feel having spent 40 hours unlocking something that someone else just paid for? You know what? Scratch that. Scratch that. I get it. I get the sense of pride and accomplishment that I'd feel if I were someone who is just so well off that I could drop hundreds of dollars on a game to unlock anything I want. I mean, I gotta be doing something right in life to have that much money. So why did this get so many downvotes? Because it's patronizing drivel. No one is buying that the system was designed to bestow upon players a sense of pride and accomplishment. It is transparently obvious that it was designed to milk money from gamers. And to suggest otherwise is insulting to our intelligence and shows just how little EA thinks of us. 40 hours before you can play as Darth Vader, the main character of the Star Wars universe. This draws upon an idea in psychology called ego depletion. This idea basically states that a human being's willpower is a finite resource. It's like a pool of mana. The more willpower that is drained from you, for instance by slowly grinding for 40 hours, the less willpower you'll have left when faced with that tantalizing loot box at a discount price that can just make it all go away. So in the fallout to this mass downvoted comment, we've seen a number of things happen, including death threats to developers, and that's not cool. Let's not do that. Our position here is the moral high ground, and when you suggest you're gonna murder someone because they want you to voluntarily hand over money to them, well, it kinda ruins the point. We also had a Twitter catastrophe, in which the community manager of the game tweeted, "The armchair developers on this internet," suggesting that he's lamenting people implying that they could design a better game in some way. And the obvious implication is that this is about the Battlefront crowd. But following the flood of angry comments he received, he completely backpedaled. He deleted the tweet. He said his comment was taken out of context. It wasn't directed towards Battlefront. No, it wasn't about you. I don't even know what Star Wars is. And then finally, we got this official message from the executive producer at DICE, John Wasilchik? Vasilchik. And then finally we got this message from the executive producer at DICE, Johnny W. Making great games comes from regular tuning. As one example, today we're making a substantial change based on what we've seen during the Play First trial. There's been a lot of discussion around the amount of in-game credits and time it takes to unlock some of our heroes, especially Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Unlocking a hero is a great accomplishment in the game, something we want players to have fun earning. We used data from the beta to help set those levels, but it's clear that more changes were needed. So we're reducing the amount of credits needed to unlock the top heroes by 75%. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader will now be available for 15,000 credits instead of 60, Emperor Palpatine, Chewbacca, and Leia Organa for 10,000 credits, and Iden, who the hell's Iden, for 5,000 credits. Based on what we've seen in the trial, this amount will make earning these heroes an achievement, but one that will be accessible for all players. So, all is well that ends well, right? We did it, Reddit? No. EA sacrificed a pawn to protect their king. It was possibly always their intent to sacrifice this pawn, because now the news cycle is about how good guy EA has significantly lessened the cost of these heroes. Hooray for EA, what swell guys. And now we're all distracted from what was the bigger issue, that the game is still pay to win to begin with. But that doesn't matter anymore. That's old news now. Thank you, EA, for your generosity. We truly appreciate that we now have to spend less money on microtransactions after buying your full-priced game, rather than the greater amount that you originally wanted. So what happens next? Well, that depends on us. We could say, we refuse to buy your filthy microtransactions. We'll play this game without them. And EA won't care. Because for microtransactions to be profitable, they only need a small fraction of the player base to actually buy any. And in that small fraction, there's an even smaller fraction that spends hundreds and thousands of dollars. People the industry calls whales. And all it takes is a few whales and a sea of anchovies to keep EA's wallet happy. What else can we do? We can cancel our pre-orders. That's a better option. Seeing the numbers suddenly drop may put a little pressure on EA. And a lot of people have been doing this because EA recently removed the refund button from their website after seeing how many people were canceling their Battlefront 2 pre-orders. Now I'm sure they're gonna claim that, oh, something went wrong with the system, so they temporarily disabled the button on their website, but customers are still free to call their support lines to cancel, knowing full well that most people aren't gonna do that. One, it's a lot more effort, and people are likely to take the path of least resistance, and if something requires too much activation energy to accomplish, they'll just say, I'll just take the sunk cost. Going through this is not worth my time. But it's not even about the time and effort. We have a generation of people that have a phobia of using this device for its original intended purpose. Not long ago, I was sitting down with my friend and his sister, and we were both giving my friend lady advice. And I tell him, yeah, you know, in a couple days, give her a call. And she turns around. What? No one calls anyone anymore? And I mean, I get it. I used to break into a flop sweat at the prospect of having to call customer service or call for a dentist appointment. I'd spend half an hour pacing back and forth, rehearsing. Yes, my hi Rhykker name. So unfortunately, removing this cancellation option will deter a huge percentage of people from canceling their pre-orders. Now, I generally advocate against pre-orders in the first place. Don't pre-order anything unless you're sure you would buy the product regardless of reviews or scandals or whatever that might emerge after the product releases. And pre-order bonuses aren't bonuses, they're bribes. They aren't designed to reward loyal customers. Big corporations, don't care about loyal customers. They take you and your money for granted. No, pre-order bonuses are designed to bribe customers who are still on the fence. Hey, check out this shiny exclusive thing right here. It could all be yours. All you gotta do is give us your money before you find out how bad our game is. So what else can we do? We can not buy the game. And I don't mean wait for it to go on discount. I mean, don't buy it, period. Don't help their sales figures. Don't allow them to increment their number of copies sold figure. Don't do anything to help them show a nicer number to their shareholders at their financial meetings, because that's the only language these people speak. But boycotts never really work in the video game industry, do they? Sure, many of us won't buy the game, but will that be enough to put a dent in EA's sales figures? Will that be enough to show them that they need to stop designing games for whales and start designing games for gamers? Who knows? But another thing that we can do is simply speak up. Tell people what's going on. Make noise about this. Get mad. Because while EA doesn't seem to care about being voted America's worst company, since it doesn't seem to hurt their profit margins, a company that does seem to care about its public image is Disney. And Disney owns the rights to Star Wars. In 2013, Disney and EA entered into an exclusive 10-year deal to produce Star Wars games. And maybe, just maybe, Disney doesn't want the Star Wars brand to be seen as something that is promoting loot box gambling mechanics to children. Or whatever. Poop, fart, video games aren't important, and none of this matters. And that wraps up this video. Leave a comment with your thoughts on all this. Would you still buy Battlefront 2 in spite of all this? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more gaming content.